the Oak Theater here. We're very excited to be here this evening. My name is Sherry Taylor. I'm the Melbourne Branch Chair for Women in Film and Television, Florida. And we have a wonderful panel this evening of speakers that have been working in the film industry for some time, from writers to producers, directors. And we're basically going to be talking about writing producible screenplays and writing with film and television industry professionals. Before we get started, we are going to do some announcements. I just wanted to do a recap real quick of what this event is. It's basically, have you ever written a screenplay or a book or wish to have your idea produced? So we're going to learn the do's and don'ts of getting your feature or short films to the next level, how to optimize your script development, production, goals, and budgets. And we're going to be basically guiding a Q&A around this theme so that everyone who is here can use their strengths to answer and basically connect the dots to see how we can elevate you to hopefully connecting you to the next level that you have ahead on your journey. So this evening we have members here from Women in Film and Television Florida. Our organization it's actually international, but we have a chapter in the state of Florida that has many different branches across the state. So if you're familiar with Women in Film and you're a member, we have wonderful events that are happening all around the state at many different times a month, and discounts to many different things. The membership basically pays for itself really with like IMDb or film festival discounts. So for more information, feel free to contact myself or Art Smith Jr., who is our secretary for our board here this evening. And I'm going to introduce our BFAT representatives here this evening. We have Terry Cronin. Hi, Terry. And you're welcome. And we're so excited to be here. This is the area here for the one and only Melbourne Independent Filmmakers Festival, which you're mastermind of, right, in our wonderful community. So I'm going to introduce you for some updates on BFAT and Kelly Turner, and then we're going to introduce our panelists. So thank you very much, and we hope you enjoy this evening.
Thank you. Thank you, Sharon. So we had a new election of officers for Brevard Film and Talent, and Bill Williams has been elected president. Woo. And I have the honor of being a vice president. Kelly Turner is going to be secretary treasurer, and Eric Emmerich is going to be treasurer. I'm sorry, she's secretary, he's treasurer. Right. And Carrie Hodge is our newest board member. Right. So we're looking forward to progressing, going forward, doing a lot of great things. Bill's going to be late, but he does want to talk about the tie-up loose ends. And also, we wanted to mention that Annie Travolta has a new project that she wants to get going. So we really do want to get some projects going for the film festival this year so that we can have some great content. Local content is something that we really like to promote. So with that, I'll give it back to you, Sherry.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Terry.
The MIF website, I'm in charge of that. We just posted our first video podcast. It's posted today. Take a look at it. 16 minutes long. Me, Bill, and Terry are in the first episode. I hope to do maybe one a month going into the festival. So we'll see how that goes. So check out the website.
What's the website name?
It is melbournefilmfestival.org.
Wonderful. Thank you, Eric. All right, so I'm going to introduce our wonderful panelists here this evening. I'm going to introduce here, we have Alexa Sheehan. And Alexa. Sure. Okay.
How about you?
Oh, Larry. So Alexa is the owner of Haberdashery Productions. She also serves on the board of directors for Women in Film and Television. You may have seen her at our Daytona events and events around the state. As an assistant director, Alexa has worked on a myriad of projects from low budget, horror, big budget blockbusters, primetime television. Moving to Los Angeles to pursue the acting bug, she found another love behind the camera. She has filmed in Grand Turk, EWI, Bahamas, New Orleans, Miami, Vermont, Orlando, Dallas, Aspen, and all over California, and is a 2011 DGA Award nominee for Fear Factor 2.0 in support of Best Director nominee, and as a member of the Directors Guild of America. She also enjoys snowboarding, surfing, fishing, painting, gallivanting, and working hard. She grew up in Washington, D.C., went to college in Florida, and moved out to L.A. in 1997, has never looked back. Always up for the next challenge. She continues to claw her way up the ladder. Okay. And we can add on here.
So that's my LA resume.
Her LA resume. A little different here. Okay, now Art Smith is over there, but Art has over 30 years of film and television experience. He owns his own production company, if you're familiar with the No Budget Movie Company. He does also serve on the board for Women in Film, and he has coached new screenwriters and helps produce their films at a low budget. He can credit teaching and mentoring over 300 individuals currently working in the television or film industry. I'm sure that number might even be higher now.
413.
There you go. His resume includes Standing Ovation, Mysterious, Bad Girl Island, Survivor Island, The Session, Fool's Gold, Misguided, 3, Fashion, New Lives, Mother's Day, Ocean City, Who Goes There, Didn't Say Goodbye, Super Mario Brothers, Good Morning Vietnam, Casualties of War, Soldier Boy, many, many, many more. I'm sure we could talk more about. But he's an independent Future Project Society, Motion Picture Television Engineers, Audio Engineering Society, and the National Association of Broadcasters. So, welcome, Art. You have Larry Haber. We had him as I guess last month as well. I don't have his bio right in front of me.
Just a lawyer.
No. Entertainment attorney extraordinaire, has worked with many filmmakers across the state of Florida and across the United States, maybe, connecting the next everywhere. So we have a plethora of resources here this evening. I'm so excited to have everyone here in this room. Jamie Engel, thank you so much for being here. Jamie is also a member of the Brevard Film and Talent Group. You may have seen her at events there, as well as Women in Film and Television. She's a yes, wonderful. And I'm going to see here, bring up your website to talk a little bit about you. I find technical difficulty right at this moment, but if you want to, oh my goodness. She's doing great. Okay. She's
cool.
an award-winning screenwriter and novelist, and if you want to elaborate a little bit on that. That's perfect. Okay, here we go. There we go.
Sherry,
Yes.
excuse me.
Yeah.
I just wanted to let you know that the sound system here is blasting music really loud,
Okay.
right above our heads, and we can barely hear you.
Okay. I will go downstairs and see if I can. Oh, I think we've got it. We're on it. Thank you very much.
What?
Yes. All right. If you would like the first 2 rows, can you hear okay?
Yeah.
So if anyone would like to move their seat a little bit closer, it's better we could do that until we wait. But I think that we're going to go ahead and get started. So in connecting the dots here for the do's and don'ts of writing and working with film.
They cut it.
They did.
That was quick.
Yeah.
Let's give a round of applause and people downstairs.
Thank you! And we have a special guest this evening, Vince Courtney, who was referred to us by the new president of Brevard Film and Talent, Bill Williams. And I'm going to ask if Vince could please introduce himself. This amazing story.
I used to be in video production back many moons ago with Communications Concepts in Cape Canaveral. So I was a producer of, we did mostly industrial stuff, like corporate videos, marketing stuff. But anyway, we also did this soap opera pilot back in the day in '85 that was a precursor. It really was a pretty good idea. It was like an R-rated soap opera. It was just me and my buddy wrote it, and we never watched soap operas, never had anything to do with them. So I was like, what a good choice that was. Let's have these 2 boneheads do it. So anyway, it was called Gold Coast, but we call it Gold Bomb because it was really lame. But anyway, so I ended up, I've written a bunch of books that's what I was doing after that. I wrote horror books and kids books for Yeah, for what?
Two great tastes, horror and kids.
Yeah, horror and kids. But anyway, I did some books for that, and then I also had a video that I did. It was in the MIF in like 2001, but I did it in 1992, and then I got a distributor for it in 2005, and it came out on DVD and stuff. So I anyway, my books that I all had in the 90s are in the 90s. I'm rewriting them all now and having them reprinted by a publisher contacted me to do it. So now I can tell people to read them, because before they weren't available anyway. But anyway, that's kind of what I've been doing. So I have video, I have some films, not film, but this was on video, the DVD that I had. So anyway, I've done a bunch of different things, but most of my stuff is about writing and about storytelling. I have a writing program for kids that's out nationwide and stuff, but that's where I mostly focus my attention on most of my stuff. I know that.
Wonderful. All right, thank you so much for being here, everyone. I also wanted to give a big shout out to the Oaks, Premier Oaks Theater. Brent, I'm not sure he's ready to go, but thank you so much for having us this evening. This is a wonderful facility, and we hope that you come out and support this wonderful theater and our film community and events that we have here. So we're gonna.
This is a locally owned one, right? It's not a chain.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. So to start off with some questions, I'm going to go ahead and sit down over here. I think Q&A is going to be a great way to maybe tie it in here. I might ask that Larry. To start, I know how important the legal aspect is when you're writing a screenplay. And Jamie, when you're first, having these ideas popping in your head, no pun intended, popcorn, we're in the presence of wonderful smells right now.
I may have done that on purpose.
In working with professionals rather than just the writing and getting the creativity out on the page, one important step to beginning your journey and working with professionals would be to have your intellectual property copywritten, which we talked about last month, and to then also have agreements with anybody else who's going to be on your team so that you can move forward with your projects. Is that something, Jamie, that you would say that you've experienced? How far into the process, once you've begun writing on your journey to working professionally? Is it let's say if it's your second project, you work on getting that legal connection right away to getting those agreements in place, or is it something that comes further down the line for you?
It's all story. It's the story. I put Dolly Parton in my first movie. They can take her out, but I'm giving them my story. So, and then from there, I copywrote it, and from there, they set the contracts and they changed the entire script. But I got paid, so
Yeah.
who cares?
There you go.
I'll look forward to watching the finished product on TV this year.
Okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
Alexa.
I wanted to go way before any of that,
Yeah.
just to kind of show of hands, who's written something, a short? Okay, that's awesome. Feature? The reason I ask is because writing, if it's the story that you can't sleep and you've got to get it on the page, that's usually how these things, I feel a sneeze coming. That's why I'm like, okay. Also, if you are just getting started and you're interested in more than just the writing, because story, 100% story. But if you want to get a feel for how to make the story into production, which is what I understood we wanted to talk about, I run the Daytona, I'm exhausted, sorry. Daytona Beach branch, and our group is so small that, I mean, you've come up, they're familiar faces here, people that have come up, including one of our lead actresses in one of our films. It didn't make sense for us to keep networking with the same 12 people. So we said, let's do something. So we did, I started, let's pick a story, everyone's homework, come in for your next WIFT Wednesday and everyone has a story idea. Doesn't have to be good, doesn't have to be professional, just an idea. We voted on the idea. The next one we discussed how to formally write it in final draft. Next one we did pre-production and assigned jobs. So it was really exciting, but the point I'm bringing that up for is just for this particular assignment, write with what you have. There's the big story with Dolly Parton, and then there's, I want to make a film in the next 2 months, a little short film. What do I have access to? An incredible theater. Okay, well let's place it in the theater. He'll let me shoot there for 2 days. What do I have? I live on the beach. Let's have something happening on the beach. And you can start to figure out how to listen to your ideas and how to get them out. It doesn't always have to be, technically perfect, but just get the ideas out. But look at what you have. That would be my suggestion if you're just getting started and you really actually want to produce it, not just, pie in the sky, I'm going to write a feature and sell it tomorrow. That rarely happens, folks. Sorry. Start small with what you have, what you know, what's in your backyard, then produce that. And then get it into a film festival. Get some, it's the baby steps, but you have to take that first step. So I love that everyone put their hands up that they've
So
written
you
something.
tell the story of the film that we made in New Smyrna Beach in the fort down in the Trolley.
That was our first one.
Labyrinth. We made that film and it won an award. So
We won a lot of awards for that.
That story.
And then the second one, because I wrote that, just because I knew I wanted it to be MOS, because it was our first film, and it's a lot of my members are bird watchers and crocheters. They're not filmmakers, So it had to be something we could handle. So no sound, starring my kid, who was 8, 9 at the time. The mayor showed up. I mean, it was wild. And we shot for 9 hours. It should have been 3 hours, but I let people direct. We were shooting it linearly. So this scene led directly to this, led directly to this. So if you paid attention here, then I'd say, Sherry, you've got the next one. Where do you want the camera? Was she running or walking? Was she excited? What our continuity, does it match? And so it was just all the little pieces of what, because I make stuff. I'm a maker on set. I run the set. That's what I do. So I'm aware of all the stuff, but when you're writing, you don't think about that stuff. So it's an interesting, so if you start small, even with just an iPhone, you can shoot a feature film on an iPhone now, but you need a good story. No one's gonna buy it, it's not a good story. Anyway, I got sidetracked. Steve got me all sidetracked.
So no, but the labyrinth, what I'm meaning is you got the crew, then the way we chose the place was that, does everyone know what's above this fort in New Smyrna Beach? If you look down into it, you're standing on the level ground, but you're looking into the former basement of a fort. So it's actually a labyrinth underneath, and when you look down into it, it's like a maze that goes to a central area that's all beautiful and has flowers in it and stuff. So Alexa said, okay, we got this, then what do we do? And she put all those things together, but what I wanted to say next though, for you, would you please say about how after we made it, who cut it, and then you entered it, and we won stuff. And a 2-minute film.
So there was the director's cut, my cuts, which I edited, and then I thought, okay, well, let's finish up a post WIFT Wednesday. So I had an editor friend who does mostly WW2 docs, great editor. Said, Gary, I'm gonna give you all my footage. I'm not gonna give you the script, because I said, just make something with this and take your time, but I need it in 2 weeks. And it was really interesting because mine was an uplifting, Hope's Labyrinth. It's about hope at the end of tunnels, and you think you're lost and it's everything's so much, and then there's hope.
Color, losing color.
You're so funny.
Because he did his.
Now I'm getting there.
Okay.
So when I gave it to Gary,
There's Annie.
should I continue?
Yes, please.
Okay. So when I gave it to Gary, he took his whack at it. He made it this dark, surreal, black and white, and I shot with popping colors and flowers and bright dresses and my little blonde daughter, and he went had this creepy music that sets off, and we started at the same place, ended at the same place, but totally different films. I liked his better than mine. It was crazy. So I, found some festivals that I could afford, because everything's out of pocket. We don't have budgets for this stuff. Everyone volunteered, equipment, everything else, for like-minded goal, women in film, and we want to do this. All made by women in film members, noted. And we got into the Love Your Shorts Film Festival, which actually is this weekend. And we would have won, but we were up against anyway. They put a doc in with the fanfare, and that wasn't cool. But Anyway, I had my daughter who was playing on the piano one day on a synthesizer, and she started to do this like weird little melody thing, because she used to say, "Mom, lay down, I'm gonna play you." She doesn't play, she just has it. "I'm gonna play you a lullaby," and it started to take shape a little bit, and I snuck out and got my camera and just started recording it. We ended up using that as the soundtrack. She won Best Original Score at this in Athens or something. I was like, oh, wow. You never know. You know, just get resourceful, whatever. But I strongly urge, if you want to take it into production, not just the storytelling, definitely write with what you have and what you can control. That was a good point. We were down in that thing because I knew there would be no vehicles. I knew that the city would give me that space for free. You know, like it was 100% control, so that we could handle it. So I just took the table away from everybody. Sorry.
Great. No, that's okay. Thank you.
But yeah, baby steps. You got to start there.
Baby steps. Gotta start somewhere.
I just have a question. What is MOS?
Minus optical sound, meaning
Okay.
no.
That it actually historically
It is not mid-out sound.
mid-out sound.
No, it's not.
It is too.
That's a
The
wide
little
sound.
German guy couldn't say W, so it's mid-out sound.
Minus optical sound, because when you shot on 35 millimeter, you have the optical sound. It
We have,
Stop spreading rumors. Jeez.
So in
I
terms of
didn't mean
like,
to get in between this.
Hey, pull me back. Pull me
you
back.
can take the theme of starting from the end with Jamie and going down, or maybe you guys can ping pong back and forth, but do's and don'ts, like along your journey of, you know, having a story or being part of that journey and taking it from start to finish, and start to finish meaning like whether it's winning an award or what your goal was for your production, because everybody's goal might be different, or taking it through the finish line and getting distribution, having monetized the project. There's different goals depending upon what you're seeking. So, and we do have a variety here of professionals this evening. I'm hoping for the do's and don'ts, that would be a great way to start, and then we can open it up to Q&A. Does that sound good? Yeah? Okay. So Vince, along your journey, and you know, mistakes make us grow, and
Well,
It's part of
Have you got,
you know, it's
have you got a few minutes?
yeah, go ahead. Let's
Well,
make it
the first project we did, the Gold Coast, I kind of hinted at it, like we wrote something we didn't know. And when people say write something you know, they don't really, I mean, it doesn't mean that you have to know about a subject in detail. You just have to be interested in it, and that's where you're going to try to do a good, to understand. Like soap opera was not our thing, but when we did our thing and did the things that we liked, then we had success, because it's something that you want to do. You know, like when I did the scary stories for kids that I did, it was it came out in '92. Or I did it in 1992, and I had a deal with the publisher I had. The editor wanted to do this. I said, well, let's do a scare package for Halloween. And so she's like, oh, that sounds like a great idea. And it sounded good until she got fired by the publisher. And then, anyway, she went to Random House. And so I got additional work because I had done this project. That's just kind of the way things happen sometimes, is you do something and it leads to something else. But anyway, then I had a manager in LA who said, hey, do you have any videos or anything on video that you want to get distributed that you haven't got distributed? So I said, yes, I do. And so I sent it to him, and he sent it to the distributor guy, and then it came out in 2005 on DVD. And so, normally you don't go around saying that you're a dope, but I was a dope because I didn't get a good deal with the guy. I was like, okay, well, first of all, I did it through the agent. The agent had the contract, not me, with the distributor, and so I couldn't sue the distributor because I didn't really have the contract, because I didn't get paid. That's basically the bottom line.
But if you have a Larry Haber in your
Yes,
circle,
exactly.
have him read over your contract.
Yeah, I don't.
So you don't get, I mean, the royalties that he should
Yes.
have, he should be living off of, and he got,
Well, the thing about it was, you know, and I just basically was like, well, you know, I want to get the DVD out because I just want people to see it, and I had people see it. That was on it. It was on Netflix in there. It was in their DVDs. You know, I used to rent them on Netflix, so it was on Netflix. It was like, oh wow, I'm on Netflix, but you know, I'm not getting anything from it because I didn't do a good deal, and that's, you know, that's part of the learning experiences. You got to just, you know, you can't let your ego go. I gotta see this on, you know, I gotta show my friends I'm on Netflix. Well, that's great, but if you're doing it for a living, or you're trying to, you know, it just
monetize it, as you said.
yes, monetize. It's, you know, that's what you want to do. So, you know, it's like, but we, you know, when we did this soap opera, we went up to New York and we talked to people at USA Network and we had people doing it, you know, but honestly, it just wasn't good enough. I mean, that was the bottom line. It just wasn't good enough. The audio wasn't good enough, and they, you know, when you're sitting in the office and they're going, the audio's not good enough, you're like, ooh, that hurt. But bottom line is that we got this project done, and we got to go, and we went and, you know, we had an appointment at Showtime, we went to, you know, USA and stuff like that. So that we were able to go in and see the people, but you really have to be self-critical because, you know, I sound like I'm bashing myself, but I'm not. It's like I just got a contract to rewrite all my old horror books from the 90s. So I got a new publisher, and they want to do it, right? So I'm rewriting them all. Like, they are completely changed because I wasn't a good writer. That's the bottom line. I had good stories. The stories are good. The stories, I haven't changed anything about them. But the writing was not up to snuff. It was, you know, and Terry and I were in this, it was funny as can be. We were in this local show, we were doing this thing at FIT, the Creative Writing Institute. And so we're in this interview with this guy, and he asked me, he goes, what makes you qualified to, you know, teach writing and stuff? And I'm like, I'm gonna be a genius. I'm gonna read some bad reviews from my first book, which are hilarious. I mean, they're really funny. It's just like, I wouldn't put my vulture, I wouldn't put my pet vulture, use this book for, you know, the bottom in the cage. Oh, the cage, yeah, exactly. So anyway, I read these bad reviews, right? And then the guy that's the host of it, he just goes to the next question. And he doesn't allow me to say, you know, the reason why I said that was because I learned how to write. Now I have a writing program. I have a writing program for kids that's, you know, all over the United States. And it's basically about what, story. That's what it's about. How to write a story, how to come up with stories, how to learn how to, you know, to come up with ideas for stories. That's what it really is about. But anyway, I just thought it was so funny because he just like cut me off, and I'm like, so that's, he's just gonna leave. Everybody's just gonna hear me bash my thing, and I don't get to say, hey, you know, I got better. But anyway, so that's what I'm doing now, is rewriting these stories, because the stories are solid, the actual idea of the story, you know. But the writing, you know, it wasn't good, and you have to be, because here's why I'm telling you that story. You have to be self-critical. You cannot rely on other people to, you can't go up to somebody and go, hey, would you read my book and critique it? It's like, okay, what do you do for a living? You're a plumber, would you come over and fix my house for free? Because that's what you're asking people to do. Now, some people, I mean, some people will help, and some people like to help, and I've helped people, but the bottom line is, the vast majority of the time I've helped people, they just get mad when you say something to them. You're like, what? What do you mean? I was trying to do this, and I'm like,
You don't get it. You don't see what I was trying to do. Well, then you need to write it better.
yeah, that's exactly what I would say. But it, you know, and it was funny because a number of them were not to bash attorneys, but a number of them were attorneys. They were my friends. Attorneys, that's not kidding. But anyway.
So, Vince, I got a question. You know, is it safe to say that what you're saying is that you're not comfortable with what you did in your early career because you've honed your muscles, you've honed
Yes.
your skills over
Yes.
time to the point now when you look back at what you did is painful. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
think that's for every
Yeah.
creator.
No, yeah, it
I
is.
think
That's
every-
exactly it.
You know, filmmakers
Perfect.
in particular, if they go back and look at like their first films, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
And even George Lucas, they say, is
Yeah.
still editing his Star Wars.
Yeah, look
to
at him
this
still
day,
doing
he's
it.
not happy with. He's not happy with how Star Wars was, and he has many cuts since then. You know, so I mean, I think you're describing it.
I would just say that it's the most liberating feeling. It's so wonderful to be able to rewrite it. Because now, if I told anybody in here, I say, you can check out my books, which you can. One of them's called Die Laughing. It's out now. It's Vincent Courtney. But anyway, the bottom line is I can recommend them. I really can. I think these are really good. If you like horror, for young adult horror, that's what this is. So it's 50,000 words. You love it, but I wouldn't recommend reading the